in life, you're either always in a storm, you're either always coming out of a storm, or you're either always heading towards a storm. There was a 6-month period of time where I wasn't making literally any money in insurance for me, and it didn't feel the best. But I did not take advice from anyone who wasn't where I wanted to be in life or didn't have success in the industry that I wanted in life.
I was blackout drunk pretty much, and went out to a bar called Johnny Pistola's. Allegedly there was an altercation between myself, the individual I was with, and our roommate at the time named Jason. And I leaped over the bar and grabbed like a rocks glass, and I just smashed it over somebody's head. So it was a pretty wild occurrence. I tried to run out of the bar and I got grabbed by security. I got arrested, taken to jail. I got charged with a felony, which was assault with a deadly weapon charge.
No matter what you believe you're going through, there's people that in life that have gone through worse, and there's people that will be going through worse things in life.
I had this like story in my own brain that like I was like being groomed for something like super, super amazing. And that I had to like go through this super tough experience to get to the other side. So today we want to talk about how to rise from the bottom to the top in life, in business. So I think the bottom is probably like, it's one of those things where it's based off of every single person's own preference of what the bottom is. So, I mean, in terms of business, when you start a new business, you're always at the bottom unless you were given some sort of elevator ride to the top. And you're basically creating something out of nothing. It's the same thing if you're trying to become like a pro athlete or a professional artist or musician. You have to work your way up. Absolutely. You have to get to that top level. And then in your personal life, you could hit certain rock bottoms and you want to kind of dig yourself out and get in a better situation. So it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right?
Absolutely. No, I like how you said that. I mean, some people, it starts with a new business venture. Some people, just like you said, it's circumstances, someone getting a DUI, someone kind of, going to jail or some specific things. And we'll get into some of those specific details. But I mean, let's get started. I think with our personal experiences, both of us, we have some experience in a bunch of this kind of stuff. And I'll start in a sense where for me, I would say, coming out of college, this was one of the points and one of the times for me was when I came out of college. We had degrees. I studied economics, 4-year degree. I was applying for jobs and I got job offers in the city. I got job offers here and there, 50, 60K salary. We graduated in 2016, and right around the end of 2017, beginning of 2017 is when we were really job hunting and stuff like that. So, during that specific time, I remember I was living with my mom. My mom was paying the bills. I had no income coming in. So after college, moved back home, and we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she was working at a 7-Eleven like 6-7 days a week. And making, what a salary at a 7-Eleven would be, maybe $500 a week or something like that. So during that specific time, I was job hunting. It was 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by, 4 months goes by, 5 months goes by. As I'm looking, everyone is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're a grown ass man. Things I was hearing is you got mom paying bills. You could be, and I'm looking for jobs, and I just didn't get and pick something that I really didn't want to do. And at that time, I started something that's a complete opposite of what most people wouldn't do, which is commission only, doing life insurance and health insurance, 100% commission only, no base salary, nothing. And I am grateful for being able to stay at home during that time, and being grateful for my mom for being able to take care of the bills during that time, because that allowed me to really build something. But I would say in that period of time, it felt to me like rock bottom during that time, because it was like, either family members or friends or, my sister or certain people were telling me like, you're a failure, or what are you doing? You need to be going to work a job. But I started life insurance, and it took me about I think 90 days to get my first check, if not even more. 3 months after starting to work to get my first check, which was $5K. I still remember, I have a picture of, my manager giving me a check. Like, we took the picture together. It was hilarious.
One of those big checks?
It wasn't a big check. It was a normal size check, but we got a picture of it, which was funny. But yeah, that specific time for me, I remember that period of time, I would say is rock bottom. And I'll kind of, get into a little bit about how, going from there and moving on was. But, why don't you go ahead and share something that was similar like that?
Yeah. So for me, in the fall of 2016, we were in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Center for Academic Internships. We were unpaid interns. Mm-hmm. All of our roommates had different places. So some people, we had a small business administration or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was U.S. Department of Commerce. One of our other buddies was some sort of foreign dignitary office or something like that. Anyways, the long story short, we were working full-time hours, making no money, and we were partying like crazy. We were partying really hard in DC. We were really having a good time. And we had way too much of a good time one night. We just killed a big handle of tequila with 4 people.
Cafe Patron.
Before we even went out. So I was blackout drunk pretty much. And went out to a bar called Johnny Pistola's. There's still a picture of me, I think probably up to this day, because I'm banned from that establishment.
Adams Morgan?
On Adams Morgan Street. I'm banned for life. So apologies to Johnny Pistola's again. But yeah, I don't know exactly what happened because I don't remember anything. But according to court documents, allegedly there was an altercation between myself, the individual I was with, and our roommate at the time named Jason. Super cool guy, and a couple other individuals that went to college, I think at George Washington University. So we were all college students. And I leaped over the bar and grabbed a rocks glass or a kind of like a tall glass you get a vodka club in, and I just smashed it over somebody's head. So it was pretty wild occurrence. I tried to run out of the bar and I got grabbed by security. And I think we were 22. Not quite 23. I got arrested, taken to jail. I got charged with a felony, which was assault with a deadly weapon charge. So almost like you're using a knife or something like that. And I was facing 4 to 8 years in jail. So I got a public defender, because the first thing before you can get a regular attorney, they assign you a public defender. Public defender said, this looks pretty bad. They got you on camera. They have all these witnesses. I think best bet is you just plead guilty. You're probably looking at 6 to 12 months in jail. And I was like, you're fired. So I fired that person right there on the spot. There's no way I'm going to jail. I don't have any record, whatever. So I had no money. I had maybe $500 in checking. I maxed out a credit card that had a $15,000 limit to get a $15,000 lawyer. This guy, Mike Bruckham, who was the man. So shout out to Mike Bruckham, because I lawyered up. He got me a plea deal where I didn't have to get a felony. I got a misdemeanor assault. And it was supposed to be no jail time, no community service, no supervised probation. Basically, I just couldn't get in trouble for 6 months.
Yeah.
Literally was going to get
slap on the wrist.
The old white card scot-free. I was going to get a scot-free hookup. It was a really good deal. He was the mentor to the prosecutor. It was really a good deal for me. We go in front of the judge, and what happens is when you get a plea deal for a criminal case, you get the plea deal from the prosecutor, and then the judge has to review it and accept it. Mm-hmm. So the judge is reviewing the case. He's they have so many cases. He's reading it, and he gets really angry. And he's like, how did you get this plea deal? And he's like, and my lawyer's Your Honor, we worked it out with the prosecutor, this and that. And the prosecutor, he starts lambasting the prosecutor, calling her out, I'm going to file a complaint against you. This is an egregious crime. This individual has 10 stitches and be scarred for life. Wow. How did you get this guy this plea deal where he's getting no jail time, no felony, no supervised probation? This is he said something along the lines of this is favoritism or something like that, or some sort of gross misconduct. Similar, I'm what the fuck is happening right now? It was supposed to be a done deal.
Oh, man.
So it wasn't a done deal. So he's I'm too angry to make a decision. I'm too emotionally tied up in this case.
Oh, man.
So we're going to recess for 2 more weeks. Wow. So we had to leave, come back 2 weeks later. And he's like, there's just no punishment. So I deny the plea deal and I'm going to give you 15 days in jail. And then the rest of the plea deal, I'll have the same. And my attorney's like, he has this full-time job. I was working at a software company at this point. So when I filled out the application for the job employment, it's like, do you have any felonies or any arrests? I just said
You ever been
no.
to jail?
I just lied and said no because the judge hadn't made a ruling yet. So they weren't going to find anything. So I just said no. So I lied, got the job, was working Monday through Friday. And this is now the summer of 2023. So this is May of 2023. The incident happened in September of 2022. So it was like 10 months later. He's like, Your Honor, like it's not going to help the society if you give them these 15 days.
You mean 2017, right? 28, not 2023.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So it was September of 2016.
Yeah.
Was the date of the incident. Sorry. June of 2017 was when or May of 2017 is when I got sentenced. So
yeah.
He's like, my lawyer's like, Your Honor, yada, yada, yada. This is bad for society. He has this full-time job. He's paying taxes. He's on the straight and narrow. He did this alcohol rehabilitation course, which I did voluntarily at the advice of my attorney.
Good.
Great attorney.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is really going to mess him up. So the judge is like, fine. What I'll do is I'll allow him to serve weekends consecutively for 7 or 8 weekends to do that time. You have to be at Washington, D.C. jail at 5 o'clock and you get on Fridays, and then you get to leave on Sundays at noon. And then that constitutes a 48-hour stay, even though it's not quite 48 hours. So that's how they did it. So they gave you 2 weeks notice on that. So luckily the software company I worked at had summer Fridays. So they would let us out at noon, and it was in Hackensack, New Jersey. If you type in Hackensack, New Jersey into Washington, D.C. Central Jail, it's a 4.5-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So I would get off work at Friday at noon. I'd be like out the door at 12 o'clock, and I'd get in the car and I would just gun it 4.5 hours to go all the way down to DC, park the car, and I'd be in like a suit, and then I'd be like changing into an orange jumpsuit for the whole weekend.
Oh, man.
And then I'd get out Sunday at noon, and I'd get out of the jumpsuit, go back into the suit, drive all the way back up to New Jersey. And then, at that point, just kind of get myself ready for the work week, because I'd be home probably like 6, 7 o'clock if I had to stop, get food. Then I'd go to work the whole week. People would see me in the lobby. They'd be like, hey, what's going on? How was your weekend? I'm like, oh, it was great. I was in prison the whole weekend. Nobody knew. I was just lying through my teeth like it was a great weekend. So that was the first year that I had the job. Did that for the whole entire summer.
Yep.
People were hanging out, trying to invite me to 4th of July barbecues. I was just bullshitting, talking out of my ass, like dipping and dodging all of these events because I was in jail this whole entire summer. So that was a dramatic experience, definitely quite a rock bottom experience. And I mean, what it taught me was like, if you do bad things, there's obviously consequences for that.
Yep.
And after that, really, it's pretty much a bulletproof mindset. So like if you get out of jail the first time, I was the only white person in Washington, D.C. jail. It's like very ethnically diverse prison system. Mm-hmm. And, you got to get in a fight right away. Holding somebody's pocket. It was pretty dramatic. I'll save all the crazy details, but it was not a nice place to be.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a lesson learned. So after that, for me, there was really no going back. Everything had to be successful. I had to make a bunch of money, dig out of that debt, and obviously fix certain wirings in my brain to make better choices in the future. So that's kind of my rock bottom story, and how we drug ourselves out of the bottom to success. I just really lost myself in work and staying super busy. And when I was in jail during those times, it wasn't a crazy long period of time, but those weekends I was there was no phone, nothing like that. Read a lot of books, did a lot of personal development, and met a lot of people that had really bad upbringings, bad situations. So just felt super grateful that I had a really good upbringing, good situations, because some people had really, really rough stories.
100%.
That I heard. And it made you tougher too, because it's not really going to be pushed around in business or in stuff like that when you really were in some tight spots.
Yeah, no, I mean, eh, I like the saying, just, piggybacking off what you said is if you're in a room with five people and you think you have it bad, if all five of you had all the problems that you ever been through in your life or problems that you'll go through, and you put it up in a sack and you put the sack on the table, and let's say you mix it up, and then you go and pick up a sack, and it could be somebody else's, and you open it, and the minute you open it, you see what's inside, you'd probably be so scared that you'll be like, nah, I'll take mine right back. I'll take mine back and I'll stay with what I have. So, I like that saying because no matter what you believe you're going through, there's people that in life that have gone through worse, and there's people that will be going through worse things in life. So, when you're on this rise from, the bottom, I would say a couple things. And one thing I like is another thing. The Rock had a good speech. He talks about coming to the US with $7 in his pocket, having his back against the wall, not being, making it to the NFL.
Yeah.
When you have these rock bottom scenarios, the one thing you should remember is it can't get any worse than this. Number one, it's as bad as it can be. I mean, your back is against a wall, and there's only one way to move, which is forward. And in life, you're either always in a storm, you're either always coming out of a storm, or you're either always heading towards a storm. So as you start to grow, make some more money, you get a job, you're doing more successful, you're running a business, you open a second business, or you get some more partners. Just understand that when you're going through those tough times, that it wouldn't have probably ever been worse than what you had happen with jail.
Well, that's pretty big.
As bad as
Hopefully
that was.
it doesn't ever get that worse again.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why that we made sure that we were sitting on a wood table. But what I mean to say is, same with me in a sense is when I came out in insurance and I was not living the best life at that specific time.
Being broke is hard, man. It's hard times.
Exactly. And I was personally at the time sleeping on the floor. I had a friend with me that was staying with me. I wanted him to learn insurance. And I let him sleep on the couch outside. My mom was inside on the 1-bedroom place, and I was sleeping outside on the floor with like a couple of sheets and stuff, and makeshift kind of a bed on the floor. And I did that for a full 6 months to a year. But I did that, and I started stacking money, and staying consistent, protecting your mind. I was only spending time with the type of people that had the energy that I wanted or the type of success that I wanted. And I spent as much possible time with those people. And I really separated myself from those friends that were smoking pot, not doing anything. The people that weren't, on the race to success in a specific way, or people that weren't entrepreneurial. I separated myself from those people, and I stayed close to the people that had what I wanted, that had the right energy that I wanted. And, those were some of the things that I personally implemented. And then I started to create success, and the roles reversed, and I was paying all the bills, and we moved into a bigger place. And, I started, taking care of all the rent and all that kind of stuff. And it was just through perseverance. But there was a 6-month period of time where I wasn't making literally any money in insurance for me. And it didn't feel the best. Emotionally, didn't feel the best. But I did not take advice from anyone who wasn't where I wanted to be in life or didn't have success in the industry that I wanted in life. Somebody could have been a successful doctor, but I couldn't take that doctor's advice, or let's say a dentist or pharmacist, on business that had to do with insurance. I had to take someone who's successful in insurance, their advice, because it made more sense. And it's just logical sense, and I followed those principles personally. So that's some of the stuff that I would say for those of you guys that are either in rock bottom, heading out of rock bottom, or feeling like you're in a bad place in business or life is, keep in mind that it doesn't get any worse than what you had in the past, but you will always have problems. And your job is to always find the Rubik's Cube to fix these types of problems.
Yeah, for sure. I just made a decision that I just wasn't going to be a loser, that wasn't going to be the end of my story, that I always had a little bit of a superiority complex, and I think that saved me through that time. That guy was like, I'm too good for this. Like, this is like, kind of like, God gives his challenges to the toughest people type of thing. So I had this like story in my own brain that like I was like being groomed for something like super, super amazing. And that I had to like go through this super tough experience to get to the other side. And honestly, it wasn't even really that bad. Like, a lot of people are really soft. They think that stuff is super hard. Anyone that's in the United States has it super easy. compared to like some of these like third world countries or people born hundreds of years ago. We have phones, we have access to anything you want to be. You can literally be whatever you want. There's more opportunity now than ever. Forget inflation, forget any excuses, and don't just be a whiner. Because if you like look at all the outside circumstances and just get negged out by it, then like you are choosing to be defeated by the situation that you're in. So choose to focus on what you can control every day. Little decisions that are bad tally up to bad things. Little decisions that are good tally up to good things. So trying to get small wins every single day, brush your teeth, exercise, make your bed, little things like that. When you're in a bad spot financially or in business, you can control certain small things and you can do the best that you can with the cards that you're dealt at that time. That allows you to feel good about yourself, create a positive self-image, and that will attract better opportunities.